Hi, my name is Lizzie and welcome to my gluten-friendly kitchen. About 4 years ago I was diagnosed with gluten sensitivity and it radically changed my world, especially how I cook in the kitchen. So I had to learn a lot, and especially now that we're celebrating Thanksgiving, one of my favorite foods to eat was Thanksgiving dressing or stuffing. So I had to learn how to make a gluten-free dressing that was tasty. Many recipes later, we finally came to the one that seems to work for our family. So just wanted to share that with you tonight if you ever wanted to know or needed to know how to make gluten-free stuffing. What I like to start with, obviously, is a good quality gluten-free cornbread mix. What I like to use is Bob's Red Meal as a gluten-free cornbread mix, so I bake this in the oven per direction. Then I also have in this bowl, total combined, about 8 cups of gluten-free breading. About half of it is the cornbread mixture. I just cube it up in the small cubes, and then the other half is a gluten-free loaf of white bread that I baked about 4 or 5 days ago. So about half of that loaf, half the pan of the gluten-free cornbread mix from Bob's Red Meal, and that's what we'll use for the base of our dressing. And then the next step would be you would need carrots, onions, and celery. This will give your dressing that hearty vegetable taste that most good dressings have. So you want to start with half an onion, and then if you chop up your onion as you would any other onion, just in small pieces, and then once you have that chopped up, you also want to chop up your celery. Same way, you start with the celery. You want to chop it up into small bite-sized pieces as well. I love working with my kitchen knife. It's one of my favorite kitchen utensils. I always scare my husband. He's afraid I'm going to chop my fingers off. And then we'll go next with our carrots. Same thing, small dice, small cubes, so that all cook uniformly in the pan. Okay, and then once we get all this done, we'll put it all in the bowl. Hopefully it'll all fit. There we go. Then I'm going to walk over to the stovetop. So now we're at the stovetop. I have my mixture of carrots, celery, and onions. I want to tell you a little bit about the oil I use. When I am sauteing or frying something, I like to use coconut oil. This is the pure unrefined cold pressed coconut oil, organic, extra virgin. I have about 2 tablespoons here. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in the frying pan, the saute pan. And as it heats up, I'll add the vegetables in. That's looking good. By the way, this is my second favorite kitchen utensil or appliance. This is a fish spatula, however, I use it for most everything. So, now we have the grease heating up. I'm just going to toss that in there. Then, what I want to do is add, let's say, about a teaspoon of salt. And you want to add some fresh ground pepper. And in addition to that, I'd say it's probably half a teaspoon of pepper. Feel free to add as much seasoning or as little seasoning as you like. You want to cook this until the vegetables are soft to the touch. As you'll see, as every good chef does, I've already prepared one of these on the back burner. This will be used for our stuffing mix or dressing mix. What I've also added in here is a little bit of fresh ground sage. We have that in our backyard in the herb garden. However, you can buy it at the grocery store. I've also added a little bit more salt, just because I tasted of it and needed a touch more salt. So as you cook, something's very important. Test as you go, and as you need to add more season, add more seasoning. So we're going to switch burners. I'm going to show you what that looked like. I've got my burner turned on here. It's about a low-medium heat. And now I have the vegetables cooked down. I want to grab the breading. Okay, I have the breading. I'm just going to toss the breading in with the vegetables. Okay, now I want to talk about something else. While that cooks up and heats up the temperature, I want to talk about something else that's near and dear to my heart. Chicken stock. When I was growing up, my grandmother, my nanny as I affectionately call her, had chickens. And I remember the day when she would go to the chicken yard and grab a chicken, do what I thought as a young child was her magical powers. And this chicken would end up on our kitchen table. And it would be chicken pastry. And it was the best chicken pastry ever. And the broth that it made was this deep amber colored broth, and I thought, wow, that's good stuff. Well, obviously, when I got on my own and knew the stock and the chicken pastry tasted really good, obviously chicken pastry is not gluten-free, but I have learned how to make gluten-free chicken pastry. Still not as good as my nanny's, but I've learned how to make the best chicken stock. See that rich amber color? This stock is something that I make stovetop, homemade, at least probably twice a month. And that recipe, don't have time tonight, but that recipe is in Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon. I would encourage you to pick up a copy of that book and use it. So now I'm going to place a cup of the stock in with my stuffing. Alright, here comes cup number 2. As you notice, the stuffing will soak up a ton of this stock. So I would start with 2 cups and then stop. And then you want to stir. You see the liquid on the bottom? That will be soaked up rather rapidly by the breading here. Okay. And that looks like it may be close to enough. And this, what I have now, was the secret weapon, or bullet, magic bullet's what I like to call it. These are fresh cranberries. Earlier, before I started the video, I took a 16-ounce bag of cranberries, added some sugar, about 3 cups of water, brought these to a boil, let them boil for about 40 minutes. And then this is what we ended up with. So I have about a cup here of fresh cranberries that have been sauteed down with a little bit of sugar water. The sugar cuts out a little bit of the tartness and also will add that sweet flavor to your stuffing. I'm going to add that now. Okay. Then all we do is stir this in. And I'm probably going to make a mess when I try to stir it all together. And you can tell the colorful, oh my goodness, look at the carrots, the celery, the red, the deep burgundy that those fresh cranberries add. This is going to taste amazing tomorrow with that gravy from the turkey. Yes, gluten-free gravy tastes fantastic as well. Okay, so you can see my stove top is full. I'm going to move a few things. Bring my casserole dish over. Preheat the oven to 350. There we go. I'm going to put this on the stove top. Remove these. I'll use these for a second batch of stuffing. Nothing is wasted. This is a pre-greased casserole dish. I use a little bit of the coconut oil in there as well. All I do is take it off the stove top, dump it in. Sorry, it's probably loud. We have that. This goes in the sink. Now what you want to do is just make sure this is nice and even. Everything cooks the same. All this is pre-cooked. So obviously when you put it in the oven, I'm going to do it after we put the last best ingredient on top. And I'll grab that now, put it in the fridge. Nothing like good butter. This is organic butter. This is not grass-fed, not my favorite. Whenever we eat raw butter, we use grass-fed butter. So I'm going to take a knife and take a few pats of butter. Yes, the real stuff. Always use the real stuff. Add it to the top. This will help the nice crunchy part, and it'll brown on top, and we'll get that great flavor. Okay, we are about done. This is my gluten-free stuffing. I will bake it tomorrow. I'm going to put it in the oven tonight just so we can finish our completion. I will make a second one to bake tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to tasting this with my family on Thanksgiving. You've been watching Gluten-free Friendly Kitchen with Lizzie. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.